NCIS is comfort food television. It's been on the air for over 20 years. It's reliable, steady, and safe. You know what you're getting every Tuesday night. Dead bodies, military investigations, and Gibbs slapping someone on the back of the head. But behind the scenes, NCIS wasn't a democracy. It was a kingdom. And Mark Harmon was a king. Brian Dietzen, the actor who plays Dr. Jimmy Palmer, just revealed a story on his new podcast that sounds like a heartwarming tale about a veteran actor looking out for the new guy. But if you read between the lines, it exposes the terrifying power dynamic of network television. The lead actor doesn't just star in the show, they control who stays and who goes. And on NCIS, Mark Harmon had absolute power. Here's what happened. Brian Dietzen was a young actor in his third or fourth season on NCIS. He was nervous, anxious, sweating before every take. He didn't feel like he belonged yet. Then one day, showrunner Donald P. Belisario handed him a new script, 2 full pages of medical jargon, and told him, "You're shooting this in 15 minutes. Dietzen panicked. He sat on his trailer steps having a near panic attack, trying to memorize lines that sounded like a medical textbook. And then Mark Harmon's head poked out of his trailer. "Brian, you need help?" Michael Weatherly appeared too. "Dietzen, you good? You want some help?" But it was Harmon who said the words that changed everything. You know why he's doing this, right? He's calling your number. He wants to see what you got. That's when Dietzen realized this wasn't just a test from the showrunner. This was a test that Harmon was watching. And if Harmon believed in him, he had a chance. Now that's a nice story. Mark Harmon protecting the young actor. Pauley Perrette taping his lines to the camera so he wouldn't mess up. A family supporting each other. But here's the terrifying part. If Mark Harmon hadn't protected Brian Dietzen that day, his career on NCIS would have been over. Because on a show that generates billions of dollars in syndication, the network doesn't make the final call. The star does. Mark Harmon wasn't just playing Gibbs, he was an executive producer. He had final say on scripts, on casting, on who stayed in the ensemble. When an actor leads a show for 20 years and makes CBS that much money, the network hands them the keys to the kingdom. So when Harmon said he's calling your number, that wasn't just encouragement. That was Harmon deciding whether Brian Dietzen was worth keeping around. And he decided yes. Brian Dietzen is still on NCIS today, 23 seasons later, because Mark Harmon protected him in that moment. But what happens when the kingmaker doesn't protect you? We saw it with Pauley Perrette. She left the show in 2018 after reportedly clashing with Harmon. She was one of the most popular characters on television, Abby Shiuto, the goth forensic scientist everyone loved. And she's gone, erased from the franchise, never mentioned again. That's the flip side of the benevolent dictator model. If you're in favor, you're untouchable. If you fall out of favor, you vanish. The supporting cast on these massive procedurals lives in constant fear. It doesn't matter how much the fans love you. It doesn't matter how good you are at your job. Your career depends entirely on staying in the good graces of the number one on the call sheet. Brian Dietzen's story is sweet, but it's also a reminder of how precarious life is on a long-running network show. You're not protected by a union contract or by ratings or by fan support. You're protected by the star. And if the star decides you're not worth saving, you're done. Mark Harmon left NCIS in 2021. He stepped away from the role that made him a household name. And the show is still running without him, because CBS built an entire empire around him and now they're trying to keep it alive. But the era of the all-powerful TV star, that's fading. Streaming shows don't run for 20 seasons. Actors don't accumulate that kind of godlike power anymore. The Mark Harmon model, where one actor could bend an entire network to their will, is becoming a relic. And honestly, maybe that's a good thing. Because as much as we love the comfort of NCIS, the reality behind the scenes was anything but comfortable. It was a kingdom ruled by a single person who decided who ate and who starved. Brian Dietzen got lucky. Mark Harmon saved him. But not everyone was that lucky.